Hello, 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 everybody. It is the market that is opening. The market is opening. We're gonna give it a second, let people come in. Let me tweet some links real quick. Hello, hello, hello. Things are looking a little a little crazy. The market is looking a little wild, let's just say that. Let me just tweet this out. Wake up, everyone. The stock market is opening. Live now. Boom, boom, boom. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Hari. Good morning, Bald Watch Collector, RM, Nick, Ahad, Fox, Range Rover, D. Williams, my boy, at it again with another pre-market live stream. Yes, we are. We are here, baby. It is a pretty bloody day in the market. Owen, you are tired. First of all, Owen, it's 9 a.m. You have school today, right? It's not like 7. You should be in school. Guys, I slept at 5 a.m. last night, okay? And I'm here. I slept at 5 a.m. and I'm here. You know why I slept at 5 a.m.? Oh, and I have some interesting news for you, by the way, that you only get access to in the Discord. Private page. No, I hate being that person. But, and I do have some really exciting news for you that I'll tell you today. There's a reason I was up till 5 a.m. last night. I had a lot of meetings. Literally, I was in meetings for about 9 hours yesterday. On a Sunday, by the way. On a Sunday, I was in meetings. But we got some cool stuff done last night. So, good morning, Aurelio. So first of all, let me check Robinhood real quick. Let me go through what is looking. So when I was up at 5 a.m. because I mentioned I slept at I slept at 5. So the market opens pre-market at 4, and I pulled up Robinhood, and I was just taking a look. And we were down. I was down about like $300. So that's where I am right now. The market didn't get that much worse than it is. Let me go to Webull. Let's look at crypto. Crypto is first of all, Tesla's still under 800 pre-market. Crypto crashed over the weekend. It went down from 39 to 38. It didn't survive the weekend test. Where is Bitcoin? Bitcoin. There we go. 38,000. Yeah. So we got down from there over the weekend. So we were at 39,000. We got all the way down to 37,000. That was yesterday. Wow. And now we are back here down at 30,000. Every day is a red day. Are you still doing late night stock show? Yes. 10 p.m. today, late night stock show. Make sure you are here. It'll be a fun time. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm going to give you guys a little in on a little project I'm working on. It'll be very fun. So definitely show up. And yeah, we will be talking. Is it about that one guy with the ties? Oh, and I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. To be honest, I don't know what you're talking about. Isn't literally everything besides China stocks green? Well, no, things are down. If you guys just look at this watch list, things are pretty much down. The China index, though, is interesting. Like, the China index is down badly, and we're going to talk about that. China's index was down about 9%. So it's not the best. Let me pull up the article right now that I wanted to show on that question. Because that's not the best thing is right now. So China index market. Panic selling grips Chinese stocks in biggest plunge since 2008. Neo, Alibaba. Baba, first of all, gave up all of its gains. So that's not the best for Baba. And then Neo, which it breaks my heart that Neo's at $15 because my mom and my sister were buying that stock at $58. Yes, that's how insane 2021 was. My mom and my sister were buying Neo at $58. They're down significantly on their investment. But I think a lot of people, had to deal with the issues of 2021 it corrected. The market corrected, and that's just the nature of how these markets happen. So let's read through a little bit of this article. Chinese stocks listed in Hong Kong had their worst day since the global financial crisis, as concerns over Beijing's close relationship with Russia and renewed regulatory risks sparked panic selling. Russia is also in a really bad situation, guys. Russia has asked China for military aid, and China's basically said no. So it does not look well. China hasn't said no yet, but they've hinted that they're not really going to help out with military aid because things are not going that well for them in Ukraine, which is rough. So the broad route follows a report citing U.S. officials that Russia has asked China for military assistance in the war in Ukraine. Even as China denied the report, traders worry that Beijing's potential overture towards Putin could bring a global backlash against Chinese firms, even sanctions. This is bad. If China's like, hey, Russia, we're going to help a little bit. We'll give you guys some guns. We'll give you guys some boots on the ground. People, if they're not doing business in Russia over, all the issues that happens in Russia, Airbnb, Facebook, Google, all these guys left Russia and hundreds of more companies. Is there a world in which they leave China? Now, this has been argued for a long time that they should be leaving China because obviously there's some bad stuff happening in China. But China is where the world's supply chains are. And because China is where the world's supply chains are, it's very hard to just leave them because, there's the world's supply chains. Namir sitting in Dubai. This DST switch came out of nowhere. Yeah, I didn't even notice when daylight savings happened, but I definitely lost an hour last night. So it's very interesting because Chinese stocks are taking a hit off the perception that U.S. investors have for regulatory concerns and if they end up working with Russia. That comes on top of a state of regulatory worries. Tencent is reportedly facing a possible record fine for violations for anti-money laundering rules, which pushed it down 10%. There's also a risk of Chinese firms delisting from the U.S. Now, I don't think that's happening. I don't think Baba and Neo are delisting from the SEC, but you never know, and that's the risk with Chinese stocks. And it's just, I'm not even trying to be that guy that's like, oh, be afraid of Chinese stock. I'm just like, you literally never know. You just never know. Like, there's so many good American companies to invest in as well. Now, the reason people want to invest in Chinese companies, let us be very clear, is because most people think that the Chinese economy is going to grow the GDP of that economy at a significantly faster rate than the U.S. economy, given the U.S. economy seems to be doing so profoundly well in 2021. That's why, like, S&P down to 3,800, a lot of people are saying, Chamath Palihapitiya, he's one of the guys who's predicting that it's actually one of the most healthiest things that can happen, because you got to let it just kind of flush out, let the pain happen, and then rebuild, because there's more space to grow. That's the nature of a recession, right? You're growing so hard, there's only so much more you can grow, so you got to go down. You know what a recession is like? You know what a recession is like? A recession is like iPhone releasing the iPhone like 7S over the iPhone 8. Because you can't come out with the 7 and then the 8, because it's too much too quickly. You got to give that stupid 7S right in the middle that does literally nothing, that Apple will still make billions of dollars off of because of pure marketing, and then give the 8. That's what a recession is. That's literally what a recession is. Tell me that's not a perfect analogy. So like for China, it's kind of the same thing. If the Chinese economy is expected to grow way faster than the US economy, then the companies that are going to set to benefit from that, just in terms of overall GDP growth, because if overall GDP growth in a country is growing, then the companies that are the like larger than life figures of that country are going to become the beneficiaries of that. And Baba and Neo would stand to benefit from that. And if you've done some of the due diligence, like Neo looks like it has a very promising future, but nonetheless, if they get delisted, everything goes to crap. So it's like, it's not the best thing in the world. So those are the interesting things that I'm thinking about. Jalami said, Jam Losi said, I thought Palantir is supposed to benefit from crisis and problems, but it keeps going down and down. Yeah, again, Palantir is a macro level issue. It's not a question of the actual company. I believe we are going to see significant governmental potential in the company based upon what's happened. So what the other thing to understand is that the federal budget was approved, I think on Friday or Thursday night. That's about $1.5 trillion, and $758 billion are in defense spending, and about $145 billion of that is in procurement. Palantir is set to benefit from a lot of that money. I mean, you guys got to think about this. Palantir put $1.5 billion in revenue last year. Like, even if Palantir were to get, out of $145 billion, let's say they get $6 or $7 billion worth of contracts over the next 4 or 5 years, their ability to reach 30% year-over-year growth is going to be very, very possible. And I think that's why they guided for that all this time, because they really do see them being able to capture a $56 billion governmental TAM. That's not going to reflect right now, especially when the macro sucks. That's going to reflect when they actually show those contracts. Additionally, Germany and the United States, Germany and all of Europe increasing their defense spending, that's going to be very important as well. And when that stuff happens, I believe there's going to be, massive financial upside on the backs of that. Let's get into Webull. Let's look at what's going on. We've got some interesting things going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, man, I've been waiting to buy Ethereum, but I'm still so scared. And the reason I'm scared is because, again, if the market drops, Ethereum goes to crap. It is, like, I just don't see it as a major hedge. But 2,500 is a phenomenal entry price, I believe, for Ethereum. Given historical context. And historical context is the past couple of weeks. The past couple of months, and I would almost say years, in which Ethereum has been in this ballpark. It's the bottom if you're looking at this ballpark. But the last 2021 was crazy, so maybe 2,500 for Ethereum is not a real bottom, right? Maybe it's something much lower than that. Is that an Oura ring? If so, it's worth it. No, this is a ring because I'm married to success. Okay, anyway, no. This is like a little ring I got from Amazon. I have a bunch of them, to be honest. It cost like $5. I kind of just bought it. I had a ring phase in my life. Does anyone have a ring phase? I'm not in the ring phase anymore, but when I was in the ring phase, I got to show up some pictures from when I was in college. When I was in the ring phase, I was wearing like 4 rings. I was in the ring phase. Like, I liked wearing rings. And I still like wearing rings. And one day I want to get a gold ring, but I also don't want to pay for a gold ring because I think that's stupid. But I do like the style of rings on your fingers. And the reason I'm wearing this is because I was like, let's switch it up a little bit. Let me just put on a ring. It doesn't do anything for me. In fact, it probably hurts my middle finger. But no, I thought it looked kind of cool. So maybe I'll bring back some more rings in the future. Now, here we go. You know what sells these rings for this cheap that I pay overpriced for, that people on Amazon profit for? The stock we're looking at right here. Alibaba. This company is where you get these cheap rings from and eventually sell them for a profit. And I've ordered things from Alibaba and I've sold them online before, like through e-commerce websites. So I know what the game looks like. I've had to deal with the WhatsApp communication with all these Chinese. It kind of sucks, to be honest. Like, they got to have a better system for that. But look at this stock, guys. Started in 2014, IPO'd at $90, ran up beautifully to 319. Munger just put 600 million in this at 130. Now it's back down to 80s. I am very interested. Look at the pre-market. Do you guys see all that red? Look at this. People are just, I'm interested to see how, what's his name? Oh, it got to 80 in pre-market. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm interested to, it's 80. Look at this right down. It's $80.40. It is $1 away from being, it is 42 cents away from being $79. It is down 7% in pre-market. I'm interested to see how the market reacts to this. What's your favorite stock excluding Palantir? Probably Google. I don't own any Google, but Google would probably be my favorite. Karp did another interview in German. Read somewhere that they're working with the LKA police. Yes, they are working with the police. We covered that news before. That was about 2 weeks ago we covered that news. But yes, guys say you definitely had a ring phase. I thought crypto was supposed to be an inflation hedge. Bitcoin is down. Guys, anyone who says Bitcoin is an inflation hedge or crypto is an inflation hedge is lying to you. And unfortunately, the reason they're lying to you, and I fell into this myth too, is because crypto, Palantir is down 1.5% in pre-market. Crypto is owned by the same people who own the NASDAQ and growth stocks. And those are people that sell when they get panicked. And there's no institutional holding in crypto, right? We're trying to make crypto key ETFs, and even those can't get approved. Oh my goodness, Coinbase. Down to 159. Guys, ARK is going to take a hit. ARK is at 55 in pre-market, I believe. Yeah, ARK is... Ugh. We're 1 minute away from the opening market. Everyone get ready. If you're not awake yet, this bell, when the market opens, will force you to become awake. Okay? It will force you to become awake. And it is going to be time for you to listen. Are you buying pre-split? Look, I'm thinking of buying Google pre-split. Yes, I'm very, very heavily thinking of buying Google pre-split. So, definitely considering that for sure. All right. Are we at almost 9:30? We're about to be. The stock market is about to open. The stock market is about to open. SoFi is at $8. Open was at $7. SoFi is down 8.46. pre-market. We're going to see a lot of stocks and how they do. Let's pull it up on the watch list. This is what we're looking at. The market's going to open, and there it is. The market is open. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. What do we got? What do we got? We got red. We got red. I'm trying to find the green. Where's the green? United Airlines got some green. Where we got the green? The US pound. No one cares about the pound. Ethereum got a little green. Oh, it's just a lot of red. A lot of red. Oh, Google. Google, we got a little bit of... No, Google's red. Doge, 11 cents. Doge is red. Baba, $80. We've opened the pre-market. Baba is $80. I'm staking my Ethereum, so I can't touch it till Ethereum 2 comes out. Makes sense. Lawrence, you're just in time. How do I ethically convince my employer to deploy? There's no... You tell your employer, founder's going to save you money. There's your ethics. CRM, Salesforce, down $200. Below 200. Boom. Where's Palantir? Where'd you go, buddy? Where'd you go? And how low can you go? How low can you go? Palantir almost at $10. Perfect. Monday morning. Start to the week. Another week of this crap. Oh, right. You silly Americans move your clothes 2 weeks to clocks 2 weeks too early. Yeah, I don't know why we do that, to be honest. It's kind of weird. I got a fever and the cure is more cowbell. Yes, more annoying noises piercing through your ears when you're probably annoyed because you're sick. That's the cure. Snowflake. Oh my goodness. $170. What is this? Snowflake dropped to about 190 of the day it melted. I did a video on that, by the way. Let's look at that right here. There was the melt on Snowflake. It wasn't even that bad though. Look at it. We dropped to 219. Like, it wasn't even that bad from 260. And now it's just like, well, there's the actual fall. That's the real fall. From there to there. Boom. Major drop. Major drop. SoFi, $8 is opening. Anthony Noto, CEO, has bought more shares. Insider SEC forms disclosed. Docusign got hit. Did anyone see? I don't think we got to cover this. This was on Friday. Docusign basically got hit here when it was at 240 and it dropped on Q3 earnings in what is this? Yeah, December. It dropped from 250 to 144. That's like a Facebook drop. That's like 325 to 2. Well, Facebook went 325 to 180. But that's a big drop, right? And then it drops even more after this earnings to 95. Now, I've used Docusign. The product is actually very good. It's not the worst product in the world. But a lot of people are thinking it was a pandemic stock, which is the hard part. A lot of people are saying the pandemic stock. Okay, a lot of people are talking about this Mullen Automotive. Let's go to that because that stock is getting buzzed. It's up right now. Look at the volume on this bad boy. Look at the volume on this bad boy. Oh my goodness. So first of all, let's go to StockTwits. Do you guys know what StockTwits is? It's basically Twitter for stocks. And it's like a dedicated Twitter for stocks. Let's search up Mullen. So people were DMing me about the stock. It crossed 26,000 watchers on what's his name? On StockTwits. And for some reason, this is an automotive company that people think is going to be the next AMC. That's what people think. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. We'll get back into it later, but people are saying it's going to be... People are buying it on the hope that it goes to like $10 and it's an AMC. I don't want to speculate in that place. I don't think anyone should. I was getting DMs about it saying like, yo, it had a 250 million shares traded in volume on Friday. Like, that's kind of wild. 250 million shares for basically a penny stock. I'm not looking into it though, but people are into it. All right, let's go to Tesla. Tesla. How is Tesla doing? Woo! Oh boy. When's the last time we got to 760? When's the last time we got here? Last time we were here was October 8th, 2021. Last time we were, look at that, October 8th, 2021. Woo! Tesla. Is this all from China's real estate market? Yes, that's part of why the market is dropping. The other reason the market is dropping, we went over it in pre-market, is Russia has asked China, this article right here, Russia has asked China for military aid, and China has still not officially like declared they're not going to give the military aid. So if China gives Russia military aid, a lot of companies that left Russia, I mean, at that point, they kind of can't justify working with China, even though they'll find some way, because every company finds a way to work with China. But yeah, that's why the market's... Now, if Tesla drops below 700, oh my, oh my, oh my. That's going to be one sight to look at. Tesla drops that low. I mean, that's rough. that would be very rough. Tesla's down to 750. Like, the core thing about Tesla is, as big as the cult is, the cult was buying when it was $1.3 trillion of market cap at $1,200. The cult was buying it then. So the question is, does the cult have money? And when I mean cult, I mean a mix of institutions, but a big mix of retail. About 52% of institutions own Tesla stock. Now I'm talking more about retail. Let me show you guys on Twitter something real quick. There's a picture of Tesla's institutional holdings. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, @IsInvesting, literally stop whatever you're doing. Oh, by the way, Tom Brady's back. We gotta talk about that. Literally stop whatever you're doing and follow me on Twitter. Literally make a Twitter, even if you don't have one. Stop it and follow me. Okay, Tesla's sitting at around 52% institutional ownership, as you guys can see. So since June 2017, it was less than probably 10%. And ever since then, obviously the run-up happened. The share price at 1,200, that's when most institutions... So, like, when it got to 1,000, that's when they got added into the S&P, which is like 5,000 post-split. And then a lot of fund managers did not want to seem like idiots for not having Tesla in their stock. So they joined, right? 542 million shares are institutional shares. As a result of that, my point is, like, how much can the cult of institutions and retail keep the stock above? Now, don't be surprised if we see 800 again in the next 2 hours. Like, because the way Tesla moves, it almost moves as volatile as crypto sometimes. I think Tesla is one of those stocks, again, that does have that cult-like following, so there's no reason it can't get to that level. But it's just a question of you know, what we're going to see happen at the end of the day for Tesla. Very, very interesting situation, though, that's going on with it. I think Elon got drunk last... Yeah, so Elon... Oh, let's go to... I forgot Elon. Thank you for reminding me of that. Elon had some very interesting tweets. We definitely got to go through that. Tesla below 700, a must-buy, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. We're going to talk about Brady in a second. So, okay, so I didn't even see the recent tweets, but let's look at... He's had some memes. So, he tweeted some big things. What are your thoughts about probable inflation rate over the next few years? And the reason he tweeted this was because Tesla and SpaceX are seeing significant recent inflation pressure in raw materials and logistics, which means Tesla, you know, Tesla and SpaceX, the biggest companies in the world that leverage economies of scale to get pricing power when it comes to materials and logistics that are raw. And what that means is, because they have economies of scale and they're ordering so much at once, they're able to get a massive discount. That gives them pricing power and negotiation leverage with the suppliers that they're negotiating with. Because if you're buying, you know, $75 million worth of raw materials, you might be able to get it for $70 million instead of $75. $5 million of savings helps the bottom line. These are companies that are getting a lot of raw materials for cars and rocket ships. And if they're seeing a significant recent inflation pressure, and he tweets to this article, commodity prices soared to highest level since 2008, since the Russian supply crisis is going on, that's where his point was about when inflation is going to go away. And you got a lot of engagement with people talking about that. And then he started tweeting some other stuff. You see that meme right there. Toby, what's up in the chat? You see this meme right there. Netflix waiting for the war to end to make a movie about a black Ukraine guy falls in love with a transgender Russian soldier. You know, Elon's just like, hey, Netflix got some free publicity out of that, so I'm sure they enjoyed that. Then we have some other stuff. Now let's translate this tweet. I hereby challenge to a single combat. Why? Let's translate this. Oh, that's Putin. Interesting. Elon Musk, I hereby challenge Vladimir Putin to single combat. Stakes are... What are stakes? This is so funny. Stakes are Ukraine. Wow. This guy's interesting. Is that why Tesla's dropping? What else did he say? See, only this guy, only this type of CEO. What is the definition? He followed on another tweet following. Oh, do you agree to this fight? That's what it means. Do you agree to this fight? Only a CEO this daring could actually think about this guy. He's a public CEO of a 900, $800 billion company. And he's publicly saying, hey, Vladimir Putin, let's fight. Could you imagine Google CEO saying this? Like, could you imagine that? Imagine Sundar Pichai tweeting, hey, Vladimir Putin, I challenge you to a single combat. Stakes are Ukraine. Or Alex Karp tweeting that. Like, or Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, doing that. Like, you can't imagine any CEO getting away with that other than Elon. And that's the beauty and magic of Elon. Now, nonetheless, that may sometimes affect the stock price, as we see right here. I don't think the tweets are affecting it. I think it was going to go down anyway, but that's kind of what it is. Amazon is holding on to its run. So Amazon, we've talked about their little run-up from here. 2,700, they announce a 20-to-1 stock split, which means their price would be about $140 a share. Announce a $10 billion buyback, which means they're diluting you less as a shareholder, because if they're buying back outstanding shares, that means you as a shareholder has more percentage ownership of the company because there's less of the overall pie, and that means your equity stake within that overall pie naturally increases when there's less of that overall pie. They have not collapsed back down to 2,700. They're up 200 points, up 7% from that day. They have not collapsed down. I am waiting for them to collapse down because I don't think it's sustainable, to be honest. But and we've seen a lot of these little pumps. Google ran up to 3,000, where Google's back down to 2,600. Like, it's hard to make me think it's sustainable, but we will see if it sustains itself. In Musk we trust. These are SEC approved tweets. That's so funny. That's so wild, man. Like, that he can actually tweet that stuff. Do you think the meme culture we have today would actually prevent a full-fledged World War III? That is such an interesting question. Yeah, like, to some extent it would, right? Like, the meme culture, it becomes so ironic and such a joke that it kind of stops it, right? To some extent. I don't know. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Like, maybe they would, but honestly, if someone launches a nuke, there's nothing going down. There's nothing. Fox has left a comment saying, I wonder if Biden would challenge Putin. Yeah, see, Biden would never do that. Like, well, I don't think any leader of a democracy could do that. That would probably be kind of rough. But nonetheless, that is what we have right here. That is what we have. Teladoc, Kathy's beloved, $53. Where was Teladoc in the month? Teladoc was at $79, so it's down, I'd say almost another 20%. Roku back to, I hate smiling seeing Roku down this much. I just, I don't like the move of selling Palantir for Roku, and seeing Roku below 100 when they were selling Palantir almost at the bottom, definitely at the bottom compared to today's prices, and buying Roku at 120, it makes me a little, I can't stop myself from smiling, is all I'm going to say. And I like ARK, and I like Kathy. I just can't stop smiling when I hear this. ARK 55. Okay, a little bit more buying activity going on ARK. I think 55 is probably ridiculous for ARK. When was this last last time it was $55 was June 2020. June 2020. Wow. Amazing. All right, let's go to CNBC. Let's see some of the stuff they've got up. What are these guys talking about? We'll watch a video to you. Let's see. Let's do... Oh, COVID uptick. Let's listen to this. Let's see what's coming out here.
We've all gotten to the point where we feel like things are better. We're kind of back out and things are normal. You hear these stories about what's happening in China right now, and it raises a lot of concerns and questions. China's obviously in a different position. They've had this zero tolerance policy, zero COVID policy, and that means they don't have the same natural immunity. But they are shutting down entire cities with tens of millions of people, and we're trying to figure out what that means. What is happening?
Well, look, we really don't know how large the outbreak is in China right now. They're recording thousands of cases. I think they're up to 3,000 cases a day right now that they've reported. We don't know if there's tens of thousands of cases or hundreds of thousands of cases. The fact that they're shutting down major cities and they're confining people to their homes, what they're hoping is that the virus will burn itself out inside those households. But we know that the attack rate is very high for this virus inside households. People are going to get infected in those homes where they're confining people right now. And the big question is, how much infection do they have and how long will this last? You're right. China has a population that's very vulnerable to this new variant. This is a much more contagious variant. It's going to be harder to control. And they don't have a population that has natural immunity. They haven't had a lot of infection in that population. And they haven't deployed vaccines that are very effective against this particular variant, this Omicron variant. And so they're very vulnerable to spread right now. They didn't use the time that they bought themselves to really put in place measures that would prevent Omicron from spreading.
What does this mean for the rest of the world? I mean, this is a different Omicron variant than we dealt with. This is BA2, but if we had widespread BA1 variant here, does that mean that we're protected against a situation like this?
It does. Look, you're seeing an uptick across Europe, and I think that's causing a lot of anxiety here in the United States that we're going to see a surge of infection. I do believe we'll probably see a bump up of infections as we lift the mitigation, as BA2 starts to spread and become more prevalent, although it's pretty prevalent right now. It's probably 50% of all cases, for example, in Connecticut. And as you get some waning immunity from the boosters that people got over the winter. But I don't think it's going to be another major surge of infection. I think you'll see an uptick before you start to see continued declines heading into the spring and the summer. And in Europe right now, while we don't know what the ultimate trajectory is, I suspect that after you see these bumps up in cases in countries like Germany and the UK, you'll start to see continued declines. It's probably a combination of lifting mitigation, some declining immune protection from the vaccines that people had, as well as BA2 becoming more prevalent that's causing this bump up of infections. One final point, remember, we're probably about 3 or 4 weeks behind the UK. So while the UK is seeing a bump up of infections right now, we'll get further into our spring before we start to see that happen here. So hopefully we buy ourselves a little bit of a backstop from the warming weather as well.
I was going to say, do you think we necessarily follow? I know we've been about 4 weeks behind every time something happens in England, but we are dealing with a different situation where it's just raged through and you're dealing with better weather. Is there a chance that we avoid a spike at all?
I think we'll probably see some kind of bump. I think we're probably going to see that within the next couple of weeks. As we lift mitigation, you're going to see some increase in cases. We have dramatically lifted the restrictions that we had in place, and so it's going to flow through, and BA2 is becoming more prevalent. But again, I don't think it's going to be a dramatic increase in cases. It's going to cause a lot of anxiety as you start to see cases tick up. There's going to be a lot of people who are worried that this is the beginning of another surge. But given how much infection we've had, given how vaccinated we are, I think that's going to be a pretty good backstop against uncontrolled spread here. One final point, when you look at countries like Germany, places where they had a lot of Omicron spread, so regions where they had a lot of Omicron spread, they have less spread right now. So we know from the data that Omicron is about 95% protective against subsequent infection with BA2. That immunity lasts at least 90 days and probably upwards of 6 months. So given the fact that we've had so much Omicron spread, that's going to be a pretty good backstop against really rapid spread.
Interesting stuff. I mean, shoot. Could you guys imagine in this economy we get another pandemic? Like, I mean, it seems unlikely just given the nature of, as he mentioned, Omicron vaccines and like just having the ability to not, deal with what's going on. But sheesh. That would be pretty bad. That would be pretty bad. All right, back into the markets. Tattooed Chef. I don't know how many of you guys are into this one. I know that it's a YouTube favorite. $10.95. Doing a little rough right here. Affirm. Who's into Affirm? Affirm's back under 30. Affirm, I know, is popular amongst a lot of people in the buy now, pay later community that think it's like innovative. I know nothing about why buy now, pay later is innovative. It's like kind of innovative, I guess. But I don't know what's the unique element here. Big Bear AI, strategic partner that Palantir works with, back up to $9.85 from lows of $4. Nice 100% gain on there. If you bought Big Bear AI on February 28th, you're up 100% on your investment. Not that many people know about Big Bear AI, so it's hard to do that. But it's approaching its SPAC price listing. I believe it was a SPAC when it went public. Tesla's already back to 780. See, I think Tesla has a chance to get back to 800. I mean, Tesla moves pretty quickly like that. I'm in Oregon, and we just lifted the mask mandate yesterday. Yeah, Media Slime, what's up, bro? we lifted our mask mandate in New Jersey as well last week. So where I go to work now, I don't need to wear a mask anymore either, which is awesome. Because to be honest, it was really annoying. But yeah, hopefully we don't have any more of those. David, I'm in Affirm. Look, man, David, if you tell me what's the bull thesis on Affirm, because Affirm got slaughtered almost as badly as Peloton did. I think Peloton got a little worse, but I'm not sure why it's that interesting. I'll take SoFi over Affirm. Yeah, like if you're betting on a fintech company, I kind of would do SoFi, given what I know about SoFi. And like SoFi seems to have a cult that's starting to form behind it, and you need a cult of retail behind a stock. Because if SoFi goes up to $30 tomorrow, if like there's a lot of people that are not going to sell, that's good. If everyone's going to sell out, it'll never get a chance to go to 30 because by 20 it'll sell out for a 100% gain. So it's like because it's at $9 right now. So like what like does Affirm have that potential in it, or do you see Affirm as like this kind of growing chart over the next 5-6 years? Maybe it gets back to $150 or whatever it was all-time high. I was thinking of buying Affirm at 90 when I saw Affirm. Like that's the crazy thing. You saw deals and discounts in the market, and then you were like, oh, this is an amazing deal, and then you realize everything will just keep going lower. Affirm is a Meet Kevin stock. Yeah, I don't know why Meet Kevin loves this stock either. Maybe I need to watch some videos on how he thinks about the stock, but I never got it. I don't believe China don't have natural immunity. Do you believe the world got the virus and China didn't? Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll see what happens there. S&P 425. S&P is holding up. S&P is not. S&P is up 0.35% for the day. It's not down. Amazon's still holding up. Coinbase drops below 160. Coinbase is like, screw it, I'm done. Coinbase is like, we're not doing this anymore. Let's head to CNBC. See some news on the markets. Mullen, that stock I told you about, it's up 40%. But again, be wary of that type of stock. Dow rises 170 points to kick off a big week on Wall Street as Ukraine and Russia war wages on. Okay, so as you can see, all the indexes are up except the Russell 2K, which is the main growth stock indice. Yeah, nothing crazy. As Russia nears a debt default, talk now turns to a global contagion. The Russian state has lost the key of payment dates coming up, the first of which is 117 million payment. Oh, wow. Russia's down on some debts. Russia doesn't have money to pay. Despite the risk of default, however, the IMF's Georgina told CBS that a wider financial crisis in the event of a Russian default was unlikely. That's probably why we see markets going up. However, some banks and investment houses could be disproportionately affected. U.S. fund manager PIMCO started the year with $1.1 billion in exposure to credit default slips. Moscow moved to strengthen its financial position following a suite of Western sanctions imposed in 2014. Let's see where the ruble is at right now. Where's the ruble? The ruble. Where's the Russian ruble? I don't even know how to spell it. There it is. 113. All right, it's better than 140 where it was there. Lilium is down. Black Sky's down. Yeah, Black Sky is getting hammered. I don't know if I would buy any of the SPACs from Palantir yet. Especially Black Sky. Black Sky doesn't have the best financials from what I know. Innovative company. It's one of those companies that might make it, might not make it. So that's one you got to just do some research on. Thoughts on Zim? Not in your sector, but seems like a good hedge in case of chaos. So let's look at Zim. What is Zim? Zim, are you talking about Zim integrated shipping? Is this to help with global supply chain logistics? Is that the sort of argument here? Interesting. It's had a nice run up. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I can definitely look it up. But if it has to do with supply chain logistics and it's sort of like a Flexport type of company, that makes sense. So is Tesla Giga Shanghai going to shut down for quarantine or what? That's a good question. And if the news comes out that it does, we may see a little fluctuation in the stock price. Let's just say that. I guess we will see that. But yeah, don't fully know. Palantir at 11.12. It's made its red candle, that's for sure. Made its red candle. It's one of those stocks that's stuck in a little bit of purgatory. We're gonna see if it can get out of it. We are going to see if it can get out of it. AMD 103. Look, I love AMD under 100. I would be a buyer under 100. I think it can get there. Question is how much worse can the macro get, and we will eventually see if it gets there. Jonas, yeah, you said yes. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. Then, I mean, for a global supply chain logistics-based stock, I think there's a lot of potential there at that point. AMC's at 13. I mean, does AMC still have, like, momentum, guys? Someone educate me on this. Does AMC still have, like volume? Do people care about it? Someone said bank stocks are going up. Let's look at the financials. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is down at 21 bucks. Oh, this is a different one. Hold on. Where am I looking at? Where's Wells Fargo? What's the ticker symbol? Wow, I hate this. I have to Google what the Wells Fargo ticker symbol. Wells Fargo ticker symbol. WFC. Okay, here we go. WFC. 40. All right. WFC is... Now, I think Berkshire has a big stake in this. One of the Berkshire guides do. So in 2020, it plummeted, and now it's making its way back up to 2018 levels. Wow, guys. These are value stocks. 2018, 63, plummet to 21, and now it's on its way back to 63. That's how these stuffs go. Okay, and then let's try Bank of America. Oh my gosh. Bank of America. There we go. Bank of America's at 40. Yeah, I mean, financials are green today. The reason financials are likely green probably has to do with a couple things. Number one, banks are always more value stocks than growth stocks, so money is rotating from growth to value. Whatever happens in the Russia-China situation, banks are going to be heavily involved in terms of the transition of funds going either to Russia, out of Russia, companies needing to secure convertible notes and debts and equities and bonds. So like banks always play a big role when there's increased financial utility, simply because they play a role in the transactions of what's going on. Now, banks don't benefit when a recession happens because less people are putting their money in a bank because less people have less money. And how do banks make money? They take the money that they get and they invest it in other stuff and they charge fees and all this type of stuff. So if you have less people doing that stuff, that's bad for banks. But in the short term, I could see how financials are up today. It's just going to be a question of, where does it go long term from here. Intel about to get a new chip factory. Is it taxpayer funded? I know it's government approved. I have no clue. Intel is one of those interesting stocks that just never recovered ever. We're going to look at Intel right now. Wow, I need to get better at the ticker symbols of this. Intel stock ticker. INTC. Okay, there we go. INTC. 45 bucks. Let's look at the max chart on Intel. So here's Intel. Started in 1981. Ran up to 75. And it literally never got back. Like, that's so wild, bro. Now, Intel's very different from a company like Palantir, obviously. There's fundamentally less innovation going on. But Intel's one of those companies that survived. I mean, my computer is using an Intel Core i9 chip, right? So, like, 75 at the height of it. And then it dropped to lows of $1 in 2009. My goodness. But it's recovered. It's recovered. So, like, if you bought in 2009, it's still a big bagger. Like, you only lost money if you bought it here. But if you bought it along the way down, you lost money. And then if you bought it along the way up, 2009 and forward, you made some money. But it's still kind of wild to see that it still hasn't reached its highs. Like, that is kind of insane. Can someone tell me what app? The app is called Webull. Webull. The app is called Webull. App is Webull. All right, guys. We are heading towards the end of the stream. 10 o'clock. Thank you all for being here. A lot of interesting stuff happening in the market. We will monitor everything that goes on. A lot of videos coming out today talking about some of the stuff that's going on. Late night stock talks. I will be here 10 p.m. late at night Eastern Standard Time talking the stock market. We're going to have a fun time. Because when it gets late at night, I get a little drunk. No, I'm just kidding. I don't drink. But we do start getting more philosophical about things. And a lot of topics come up. You guys can ask me stuff. Some exciting announcements this week on Palantir. Stay tuned around Wednesday, Thursday. Very, very exciting, nice announcement. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a really fun addition to the community and something that's going to be fun to build in front of you guys over time. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another opening market live stream. I will see you tomorrow and late at night for late night stock talks, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I will see you guys there. Bye-bye. Topics come up, you guys can ask me stuff. Some exciting announcements this week on Palantir. Stay tuned around Wednesday, Thursday. Very, very exciting, nice man.